I saw the quartering have like a public begging. Oh my god, that was so sad. I'm not too familiar with the quartering. I know he gets dunked on all the time, but holy shit, he made this post about how like he can be the CEO of Twitter for free. He has experience, and then he made this big post about how he sacrificed his notifications because he thought this was the most important thing he'd ever done. So he made a video begging and talking about Elon Musk stepping down. It was so sad. I didn't watch the video, but holy fuck. He made it sound like he was some kind of martyr because he posted a fourth video, which means he didn't get a notification to go out the following morning. He compared it to 9/11. Oh, Jesus, I didn't even see that. Holy shit. Oh my god, that's so pathetic. Ooh.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make.
Well, I certainly didn't have this on my bingo card for videos that I'd be doing at the end of 2022. But here we are. So Moist Critical did a scathing video on Jeremy from the quartering. I mean, it was absolutely brutal. Tore into him pretty hard, pretty deep, pretty fast. And the thing that's interesting about this is, unlike most drama where the venom and vitriol and anger comes from somewhere, like somebody says something about somebody and then they come back and just lay into them. Sort of like with Moist Critical and Sneeko. Sneeko had said some things, then Moist Critical responded, but it was all pretty civil, all things considered. And then Moist Critical found out that Sneeko made fun of his girlfriend, which it's pretty disgusting when people go after, girlfriends and wives like that for no reason. And it's just like, yeah, look how wrong Moist Critical is. His girlfriend's like a 4 out of 10. It's like, yeah. So Moist Critical just basically opened his asshole and just went in raw, no rubber. And so, yeah, I understand that. I totally get that. Like, somebody makes fun of your girlfriend or your mom or your family. Somebody makes fun of your mom's cooking, kicks your dog. That's that type of stuff you go scorched earth for. But the quartering never mentioned Moist Critical ever. I don't think I can recall a single time in this whole interaction where Jeremy was like reaching out to Moist Critical to make fun of him or to mock him or to belittle him or put him down or say anything to him at all, which is what makes this so bizarre. Because if you're going to come down that hard on somebody, there has to be a reason, right? Other than, somebody said something cringe when they were drunk. And don't get me wrong, Jeremy going full whatever on that whole Elon Musk poll, that was embarrassing. But he admits that it was embarrassing. Because unlike Charlie, I actually watched Jeremy's video on that. And then I watched his follow-up where he admitted he had a meltdown. The quartering admitted that he had a meltdown, and he explained why. You can believe him or you can not believe him. Whatever the case is, he says he was extremely drunk. He said that he was going through some stressful stuff and that he sort of just, had a bit of a lapse in judgment. You can believe him or not, but even if you don't believe him, I don't understand where that level of anger comes, because one of the first things that Charlie said about the quartering was, I don't really know this guy. I don't watch his content. In fact, I didn't watch the content for this video. So you don't know somebody, you don't watch their content, you have no other context other than this video. Yeah, ribbing somebody and making fun of them like, yeah, this was a really cringe thing to do is understandable. But I mean, we're talking like Moist was trying to look up old videos of him because his audience was shitting on the quartering, and he was trying to look up old videos to make fun of him, and it's like, I don't get it. I don't understand. It would be like let me put this in another way. Moist Critical is a much bigger star and streamer and has a much bigger audience than the Quartering. In fact, by a magnitude of 10, I think Moist Critical has like over 10 million or 11 million subscribers, whereas Jeremy from the Quartering has like 1 million. So coming after this guy who's a fellow content creator, who's much, much smaller than you, seemingly for no reason, imagine that a huge celebrity, say somebody like The Rock, came out and made a statement about Moist Critical, saying, oh, I don't really know this guy. I don't watch his content. But I think that he's pathetic, and I think he's stupid, because I saw a comment that he made online, and it was just so ridiculous and pathetic. Only a pathetic weirdo person would say that, and just basically being mean and just needlessly vicious and nasty. I would think that that would totally suck, and I think that for Moist Critical, he may not say in public, but it would probably hurt his feelings. It probably wouldn't feel very good to have somebody rip into you. And Moist would probably be saying, well, wait a minute, I didn't say anything to The Rock. I just said something online. It's like, my point here, what I'm trying to make, is that it's just needless negativity. Because the moment that Moist started shit-talking the Quartering, his audience jumped on that like flies on a piece of shit. They started going off on how terrible the Quartering was. Yeah, we agree with you, Charlie. We agree with you that the Quartering's terrible. And then they started shitting on him and just bringing things up, conspiracy theories, things that have been debunked, all this sort of shit that's just, the Quartering's so terrible. He's a pedophile because of his She-Hulk reviews and all that stuff. And I don't understand. That's a lot of anger. That's a lot of negativity out of nowhere for no reason. And then what will happen is Jeremy's audience will see that and say, what the fuck? This Moist Critical guy, he's coming after us. And so they'll start shit-talking Moist Critical. And it's like, then you have this whole bunch of negativity from fucking nothing. No legitimate reason for it. I understand wanting to make fun of somebody who made a mistake, but when you go past a certain point, when you're not just making fun of them for a post they made, Moist Critical described the Quartering, even though he said he didn't know him, as somebody whose entire reputation online, his entire reputation, was getting shit on Twitter and making some embarrassing videos about Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. That is the entirety of what Moist Critical gave to the Quartering in terms of good faith, in terms of representing his channel and what he does. All because of this tweet. Now, that would be like me looking, and by the way, this is a bad example because if I were to judge Hassan by a single tweet that he makes, I would actually be correct because, unfortunately, I know far too much about Hassan for my own well-being. But yeah, if I saw, Hassan post something and it was just one of his asinine, just degenerate, immoral, evil statements that he's made numerous in the past, or him calling somebody a cracker and saying, well, Hassan Piker is somebody who's deeply, deeply, deeply racist. I don't know anything about Hassan. I don't know anything about his content, but he used the word cracker, and so therefore, he's just definitely a racist. He's just a deeply, deeply racist person, and going in on him and making fun of him and pointing out the fact that he's probably several generations inbred and he's one of the most immediately vile, evil, and repulsive people that I've ever met. Imagine going that hard, that fast off of one post because you don't like somebody. I don't think it's fair. I don't think that it's reasonable. I don't think it helps anything. It makes everything seem a whole hell of a lot more negative. And I know the audience feeds on it. I mean, the audience any chance they can get to shit on somebody, they will. Which goes to people are looking to feel like they belong. And the easiest way to feel like you belong is, hey, it's us as a group shitting on somebody else. Like, hey, the quartering, he's a pretty terrible guy, right? Let's talk about how bad he is. And so we'll be a group together shitting on that guy. And I don't think that's good or healthy, or I don't think that should be encouraged. And for somebody like Moist Critical, I understand going after somebody like, Conor McGregor, or, like somebody who's a big time celebrity or something like that. But the quartering, not physically, mind you, but the quartering in terms of channel size is a fraction of Charlie's channel. He's a fraction. He's not very big. Quartering's not very influential. He doesn't have insider access. He doesn't get phone calls from Susan, I would imagine. He's just a guy doing his YouTube channel. I don't particularly watch him very much, but I know enough about him to know what he is and what he's not. And so I saw that, didn't really like it. But I think that Moist Critical is doing that far too often. That he doesn't really know somebody. He has a general idea. The general idea is wrong. And then he leverages that into these really angry, really hateful positions. It's sort of like, James Corden. Why don't you like James Corden? Oh, I can't really know because he's not entertaining. And he fucking blisters him every chance he gets. Now, I personally don't like James Corden because he is not funny and he's done some pretty obnoxious things in the past. But Charlie claims he doesn't like him just because he gets a feeling from him. And it's like, come on. It's like, where does all this come from? Moist Critical is what I would consider to be a pretty solid creative genius. His works like Skynut and the book God Slap and all the stuff that he creates, it's just, it may be like basic and common to him, but it's really not. It's quite a skill to be able to make stuff like that and to think like that, think that creatively. I like Moist Critical when he donates to smaller streamers because it's not just the money. There are people that are streaming 8-9 hours a day in front of nobody, or maybe they get one viewer, and they do this all the time. And for somebody like Moist Critical to come in and donate them some money and give them some attention, and all of that content, all of that loving content that he does, and the content that he does about Smash Brothers and the things that he's passionate about, and also my personal favorite, his To Catch a Predator videos where he makes fun of child predators. All that stuff is phenomenal. When Moist Critical is talking about things that he cares about and things that he loves, that's great. For me, where he loses me is when he starts talking about all the things he hates. Like, I hate the quartering because he said something positive about Elon Musk, who I also hate, on Twitter, which I also hate. It's like, that's where he loses me. I like when he talks about things that he loves and that he enjoys and that he's passionate, like slap fighting. I would never watch anyone else commentate slap fighting other than Moist Critical. He's that hilarious when it comes to that. But listen to Moist Critical talk about Elon Musk on Twitter. Yeah, I'd rather watch. I would not willingly sit there and watch that because it'd be terrible. It'd just be obnoxious grunting and just bullshit. So you take the good, you take the bad. This was my critique. It was my commentary. These are my thoughts. I've commented on channels that are much, much bigger than mine in the past. And if they get wind of it, usually they leave negative comments, which By the way, on my channel, I don't delete anything, so you can lay into me as much as you want. But I would just ask you to consider what I've said. I don't think that Moist Critical is a bad guy. I think he's a net positive for the platform. But when you generate that type of negativity out of nowhere for no reason, like, it's almost like Jeremy was drunk peeing on a brick wall in public, and the quartering just saw him from, like, across the way down there, like 6 blocks away, and ran as fast as he could to come sucker punch the quartering from behind and smash his head into a brick wall. I mean, you gotta be honest. I mean, that was a pretty brutal attack on the guy. Like, I would never want somebody to be like, yeah, I don't really know Exion at all. I've never watched one of his videos, but I hear that he's a pedophile because he was critical of, like, Netflix's She-Ra. It's like people spread bullshit like that more than you think. In fact, I've been called a pedophile for criticizing Netflix's Sheila. So was a lot of people. If you were to use that, like somebody were to pop in chat, and you'd be like, I don't know this guy, but he's definitely a pedo because he's criticizing Netflix's She-Ra, and all he really wants is, all he really wants is a She-Ra to jack off to and stuff like that. If you were to, like, listen to that without knowing who the person is and repeating that, oh, that's fucking terrible. That's awful. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to get in the habit of that because it's the worst. And it just, honestly, that would, if you wanted to get me mad, that would be the one thing that you could do. From somebody credible, if I were accused of being a pedophile, I would lose my fucking shit. That's my trigger, that's my trigger thing, because, yeah. Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching who have made it this far. I appreciate the support, or I appreciate the criticism, whatever it may be, and I'll see you guys next time.
He said it was his personal 9/11. Hold on, let me find the tweets. He made quite a few, just like publicly begging. I could honestly feel like the tears welling up in his eyes because he believed this was such a big deal and that he was the right fit for the Twitter CEO. And he's been getting dunked on endlessly ever since. Where's the originals? Gotti is always tweeting, holy shit. And it only got worse from here. So this is about the Twitter CEO stuff. Elon, I want to do it and I can keep it alive. Not only that, grow it far beyond what it is now. I have a complex understanding of alt tech, what Twitter needs, and what creators need. I have a dozen years running a marketing agency that represents Fortune 500 companies. Even if you laughed out loud at this, I am 100% certain I can at the very least help immensely with prioritizing product rollouts that will maximize growth in the shortest time frame, and would be happy to do it for free. And then the following, 2 hours later? 2 hours later, or something in that ballpark, he made this big stink about how he's making a huge sacrifice by posting a YouTube video at a suboptimal time. Because that's how much he cares. How much it means to him. Wait, what? Did he delete the tweet? What the fuck? Wait. Did he delete it? He did delete it. Oh, come on. What? That's such a shame. Damn it. Those tweets were bangers. Oh, here. Someone saved the screenshots. Okay, here. At least some of them. I remembered there being a couple more, but this seems like a good start here. Who is this guy? I'm not too familiar with him. I really only see him get dunked on Twitter for some really dog shit takes. But I know he makes, a lot of content. I know for a while he was shitting on Brie Larson. Like, that was the main thing he was doing, so that's become kind of his legacy on the internet. But past that, I'm not really sure. If I could just get 3 minutes on the phone with Elon Musk, I could convince him to stay a little longer. Please share the above video. We cannot lose this vote. I'm sure that's who Elon really wants to hear from. This was probably the number one guy. He's like, shit, I need his advice. I've got to hear what he has to say. If you don't vote no on this poll, you don't care about free speech. You don't care about the public square. This is everything. Elon Musk, I know you want to step down, and I fully expect it, but this is way too early. You need more time to shift the culture than a few weeks. I don't know why he wasn't making a big hoopla about, like, all of the banning and shit. If it's all about free speech, I don't know why he kind of stayed silent on all of his, like, banning temper tantrum moments. You should watch the video where he pees in his basement floor while playing Fall Guys. I don't know if you're making that shit up, but wow, I just love that statement already. That sounds like CEO material to me. I don't know why Elon won't get on a phone call with him. He got mad his wife went out for pizza. Okay. Is it something I can watch on stream, or does he, like, actually bring his dick out and start peeing? The quartering pees on his basement floor, August 17th, 2020. I'm assuming this is the one. So, fill me in on the context here. Why is he mad that his wife went out for pizza? What exactly happened? It was just because she went without him. Okay.